Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there lived a young man named David. He spent most of his days wondering why his life never seemed to move forward. David lived with his mother and grandfather. His father had passed away years ago. His mother worked hard every day. She stitched clothes for villagers to earn money. Even though life was difficult, she always smiled, and her smile was a gentle comfort. But David was unhappy. He felt a sense of discontent. Every morning, he opened his phone and watched other people's lives, luxury cars, beautiful houses, success stories, travel videos, happy faces. Slowly, comparison poisoned his mind, and he began to feel lost. One afternoon, David sat near the tea shop in the village. Several young men were talking loudly. "Did you hear? Michael bought a new bike in Mexico? Daniel earns more than $50,000 every month. Soon he will build a big house for his parents." David quietly listened. His heart became heavy. He looked down at his old slippers, covered in dust. That evening, while walking home, he kicked small stones on the road, angrily. His grandfather noticed his sadness. "David," he asked gently, "why does your face look darker than the evening sky?" David forced a smile. "Nothing, Grandpa." But the old man understood. He saw the pain in David's eyes. That night, during dinner, David suddenly said, "Maybe I'm useless." His mother immediately stopped eating. "Never say that again." "But look at everyone else," David replied. "They're moving ahead. I'm still here, doing nothing." His grandfather quietly drank water. Then he smiled. "Do you know why the mango tree gives sweet fruits?" David looked confused. "Because it focuses on growing its own roots. It does not compare itself with the coconut tree." David stayed silent, but he did not fully understand those words yet. He needed time to reflect. The next morning, David walked through the fields, and the air smelled fresh after light rain. Birds flew across the bright sky, and in the middle of the field, an old farmer named Robert was planting seeds. Even at his age, he worked peacefully, and David asked, "Grandpa, how are you always calm?" The old farmer laughed and said, "Because I stopped worrying about other people's crops." David sat beside him, and Robert continued, "Look around, every plant grows differently. The banana tree grows fast, the coconut tree takes years, the sugarcane bends, the mango tree stands tall. But all of them grow in their own time. If the mango tree keeps watching the banana tree, it will never become strong." David listened carefully, and Robert said, "For many years, I wasted my life comparing myself to richer farmers. I became jealous, angry, tired. Then one day, I realized something. The field only grows when you water your own land." Those words stayed inside David's heart. Water your own land. That evening, David stared at himself in the mirror, and for the first time, he asked, "What if I stop chasing others and start building myself?" The next day, David woke up before sunrise. The entire village was still sleeping. He stepped outside, and cool air touched his face. For the first time in months, his mind felt peaceful, and he decided something: he would stop wasting time comparing his life. He would focus on improving himself little by little, not for others, but for himself. David started with small habits. He cleaned his room, he helped his mother, he reduced time on social media, and he started reading books from the small library near the temple. At first, people laughed and said, "Look at David acting serious now. He thinks he will become successful." But David remembered the farmer's words, "Water your own land." Every evening, he sat near the river and wrote his goals in a notebook. One page said, "I will become stronger mentally." Another page said, "I will learn new skills." Another page said, "I will stop caring about people who mock me." Days slowly turned into weeks, and something unexpected happened. David's confidence started growing. Slowly, over time, a few weeks later, the annual village festival arrived. The streets became colorful, lights decorated every house, and music filled the air, softly, gently. Children ran around excitedly, people wore traditional clothes, and food stalls filled the roads. David walked through the crowd peacefully, taking it all in. Earlier, he used to feel insecure during festivals. He compared clothes, compared money, compared appearance. But this time was different. Near the temple entrance, he saw his old school friends. One of them laughed and said, "David, still in the village?" Another one said, "You should move to the city if you want success." Earlier, those words would have hurt him deeply, but now he smiled calmly, because he finally understood something. Success is not about showing off. Real success is inner peace, a sense of calm. That night, during the festival dance, David watched villagers smiling together. Old people, children, farmers, workers. Nobody's life was perfect, yet many of them were happy. For the first time, David realized he had been chasing the wrong thing. He had been chasing validation, not growth, not self-improvement. And that was a gentle, soothing thought. One afternoon, David visited a small mechanic shop in the nearby town. The owner was a kind man named Thomas. David asked nervously, "Sir, can I learn to work here?" Thomas looked at him carefully and said, "Do you really want to learn?" David replied, "Yes." Thomas then said, "Then come tomorrow morning." From that day onward, David worked hard. He cleaned tools, watched carefully, and learned patiently. Sometimes he made mistakes, sometimes customers shouted, but slowly he improved. For the first time in his life, he felt useful, and that feeling was satisfying. At night, even though his body felt tired, his heart felt proud. One evening, while returning home on the dusty village road, he looked at the sunset, and the orange light covered the fields. And slowly he smiled because he realized something beautiful. When you focus on yourself, your life slowly changes without you noticing. Months passed, and David became more disciplined. But one day, an old habit returned. While scrolling through social media, he saw a successful influencer, a luxury car, a big house, millions of followers, and immediately insecurity entered his mind again. Maybe I'm still behind, he thought, and that night he could not sleep. His thoughts became heavy and overwhelming. The next morning, his grandfather noticed him sitting silently outside, and he asked, "What happened now?" David sighed and said, "No matter how hard I work, someone else is always ahead." The old man smiled softly and said, "David, if you keep watching other people's race, you will forget your own path." Then he pointed toward the village road and said, "See that bullock cart?" David nodded, and his grandfather continued, "That cart moves slowly, but it still reaches its destination. Not every journey must look fast." Those words calmed David again, and he finally understood that life is not a competition. Everyone carries different struggles, different timing, different dreams, and that thought brought him peace. One rainy evening, David noticed a young boy sitting near the bus stop, crying, and he felt a sense of compassion. The boy looked worried, and David could sense his distress. David sat beside him and asked, "What happened?" The boy replied, "Everyone says I'm useless." Those words reminded David of himself, and he felt a deep connection. He gently smiled and said, "Do you know something? A seed looks small and weak before it becomes a tree." The boy looked up, and David continued, "Don't focus on proving yourself to others. Focus on growing yourself." The boy slowly smiled, and in that moment, something shifted. That moment changed David deeply, and he realized something powerful. That when you heal yourself, you can help others heal too. Slowly, villagers started respecting David. not because he became rich, but because he became wise, and that wisdom was something to be valued. 1 year later, David had saved some money, and he was ready to take the next step. He wanted to start something of his own, and this desire had been burning within him for a long time. Many people discouraged him, saying, "It's risky, you may fail, you don't have enough education." But David no longer lived according to other people's opinions. He decided to open a small repair and electrical shop near the main road, and this decision would change his life forever. The shop was tiny, the paint looked old, but David treated it like a palace, remembering the dreams he had for his future. Every morning, he cleaned the shop carefully, and he welcomed customers politely, working honestly, and with a passion that was truly inspiring. At first, only a few customers came, but slowly people trusted him, and his business began to flourish. Months later, the shop became successful, and David's hard work had paid off. One evening, his mother stood outside the shop with tears in her eyes, remembering the struggles they had faced. "Your father would be proud of you," she said, and David smiled emotionally, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment, not because he became rich, but because he finally became the person he always wanted to be, strong, focused, and peaceful, with a sense of purpose that was truly beautiful. One night, David sat near the river, where he once felt hopeless, remembering the struggles of his past. The moon reflected beautifully, truly, on the water. Cool wind moved through the trees, and he felt a sense of calm wash over him. He remembered the old version of himself, the boy who constantly compared, and the boy who felt jealous. The boy who thought success meant impressing others, but now everything felt different. He understood, then, the truth that success is not just one thing, but many. Success is waking up with peace, and success is becoming better than you were yesterday. Success is helping your family, and success is believing in yourself, even when nobody else does. And most importantly, success begins the moment you stop chasing everyone and start focusing on yourself, a realization that would change his life forever. In every village, in every town, in every city, there is someone silently comparing themselves to others, someone feeling left behind, someone feeling invisible, someone thinking they are not good enough. But remember this, the flower does not compete with the flower beside it. It simply blooms. Your journey is different, your timing is different, your life is different. Stop watching other people's lives so much. Focus on your growth. Focus on your peace. Focus on your future. One small step every day can completely change your life, and maybe one day, people who ignored you will look at you with respect, not because you became famous, but because you became stronger. So from today, focus on yourself and watch your life slowly transform.